Last week on Pokemon Cooked League, the Jake Gambits got stunlocked by the goofy Genesect's encoring Gengar and extreme speeding Genesect, while the inner beauty Bruxishs was made ugly by the Get Don't Turn inner Surfetch. Both these trainers need to climb out of a hole. Who's gonna dig the other person's grave? Welcome to our final match of week 4. We have the Jake Gambits versus the inner beauty Bruxishs. Looking at the inner beauty Bruxishs side, there are two mons that I look and I'm kind of worried about them, and it's Porygon 2 and actually Bruxishs. Bruxishs does have the ability to stop fake outs with the dazzling ability, but it's in a spot where it's again what also has fake out also has intimidate, which decreases its attack, and knockoff, super effective stab move. So that's kind of a tricky spot to be in. And the Porygon 2 is in a similar spot where there's two dark types and no knockoff, which I imagine are pretty safe move. A move that is going to be brought on the Jake Gambit side. I think something like the Arcanine is probably Arcanine or Gliscor are his best mons against something like against the rest of the field, with the ability to either intimidate or Gliscor with the just being generally just bulky enough to stomach those hits, can do safe things like click Earthquake or make guaranteed progress somehow. And on the Jake Gambit side, we do get to see the debut of the Hatterene, which is nice. But let's see. We also had the Galarian Weezing. Last time Galarian Weezing was brought, it was the Misty Surge ability, which I'm pretty sure was a misinput. So I'm hoping that this Galarian Weezing does not end up being the absolute disaster as it was last time. Leads. I want to lead with an Intimidate / knockoff user. I think I prefer Scrafty in this one, just because it's better against Bruxishs, and Bruxishs is, might be more likely to be sent out for a lead just to stop the fake outs early, and the Incineroar is weak to water while the Scrafty is not, and anything that you think will pair well with it, or what I think the Bruxishs may lead with. I actually don't like leading Bruxishs here, speaking of which. I think you want to lead an Intimidate user of your own, like maybe Arcanine, or maybe just like Keldeo, just to try to counteract have a fighting type to counteract these two dark type Intimidate users. Okay, we are levitated Pierce this time. That makes sense here. I feel like your abilities are pretty good, and not only that, I don't think his abilities are like bat breaking. I think he can survive basically all of them. I think probably the most powerful one is like the grassy terrain. So yeah. Let's see, this Galarian Weezing has a very naturally physically bulky against the Arcanine. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw something like Toxic Spikes to try to start whittling down these mons early. I wouldn't be surprised if he was planning to lead this just to click Toxic Spikes to just find a way to hit the Ting-Lu, with just a way to start wearing it down. Yeah, Garchomp is in a spot where you feel really unsafe against the P2 with a +1 special attack Ice Beam. Speaking the Porygon 2, it appears we went download this time. I think that makes sense here. And it's just kind of, what does this Arcanine do? I don't think, Flare Blitzing, I don't think the Weezing is that great. It's it's not in a great spot, but it's just not in a spot where I'm ready for it to do something impactful. So maybe if you think it's too passive, you start getting it out of here. That's exactly what's happening. And I did correctly call the Toxic Spikes here. Just looking at it, the only Amon that's immune to toxic spikes right now is Gliscor with its flying typing. And yeah, so every time it switches in, you are on a timer here, and because of the double intimidate, it's gonna be kind of difficult to like break through, especially because you have two real special attackers, which is like the Keldeo and the P2. Kind of interesting that we didn't see an Ice Beam on the Garchomp. That can mean a couple things. One, he thought the Garchomp was going to switch, or two, there was just no Ice Beam in the P2. But yeah, this is a. But if there's any mon that can stall, it is Gliscor Toxic Heal here. So I think Gliscor is in a really good safe spot here. I like to switch a lot. You can start trying to make progress, like I said. Like the P2 is shown to be faster than the Weezing, so you can just try attack the Weezing again if you want, and then like try to Toxic like the Garchomp. Obviously, there is just the risk of the. I guess there's a couple risks. One is that Hatterene you won't get poisoned back, but it will just bounce it back. And two, if a Ditto switches in, you are getting what's it called? Toxic Heal. But I don't think that's a big issue because P2 with its special the potential Ice Beam that he might have could really easily take that out. So I think Toxic is a fairly safe click to make here. The Earthquake not doing a lot here. Just righted, not being like intimidated. And a protect from the P2. I don't think protecting with the Porygon 2 was really necessary here. I don't think you were gonna get punished by anything that crazy. I think this just is kind of just like this is kind of like too slow. Like, what is the worst case scenario to happen to this P2? Like again, your P2 is faster, so like you're not scared of getting like toxic by the Weezing. I don't know. I just don't think this protect was like necessary here. I felt like if you look at the stuff that happened, it's just like the Porygon 2 is probably taking this around the same amount as the this Gliscor, maybe even less. And like even if like it's just not taking a lot. I don't think that was necessary. But you're still in a spot where you can try it. The Weezing just protected, so you can try to double it this turn if you really wanted to. A +1 special attack, try attack into the Weezing is already a good start, and the Gliscor can kind of do whatever. And there's just no real switch-ins to try attack here. That's the thing. There is no normal resist that's on the field, especially the +1. Like, that's gonna hurt something. And I think this Gliscor should probably start doing something that like I don't think the Earthquake's really cutting it. I think you've got to try to do something that actually has more long-term value, because I don't think Earthquake is just hitting hard enough to really be considered that. Are we gonna get a flinch here? No, we have Defog to counter the hazards. Okay, definitely a neat trick there, and I think that's gonna be a huge payoff here actually. Because that simplifies the game so much now. I already thought you were in a decent spot, but I can imagine something that Jake Gambit's head is like, if I can just find a way to kill these first two Mons, I can maybe piece together a way to win this. But I know he's only down one Mon, but like, man, this feels kind of rough here. I do think letting the Weezing die is the smart thing to do. You got to get a way to knock off this eviolite or threaten the P2 somehow. Probably would just Scrafty does with the fighting typing, so it does do a bit better as like stab afterwards. And then you can also reduce the damage of the Gliscor here. I can only imagine it's Scraft. Oh, that's actually a really cute trick here. The Porygon 2 gets, being the Ditto, you do get every stat stage change with Ditto, but not only that, your ability triggers. So you basically just got 2 download boosts. So this P2 is really scary here. Problem is that it is lacking its eviolite item. So it is not this bulky wall. It's more just like a frail special attacker here. You also get to learn a bit more about the moveset. You get to see if there's a potential ice beam that just wasn't being clicked, anticipating a protect, or maybe some other tricks like the ally switch from like we've seen before. Okay, we make the so knowing the information, there is the switch from the P2 into the into Rillaboom here. Maybe expecting a knockoff user coming out sooner rather than later. But maybe just saying that I don't want to take a +2 try attack, which is also fair. You think maybe you can bulk away through most of this team. But man, you can really see the power of the combination of Toxic Heal and like Rillaboom Grassy Terrain. You gained, what is that, 18% of your health back. And you can just like double protect again. I mean, you can double protect here to try to salt the fake out if you want to. And now you're getting another 18%. And now this Gliscor is already back at half without doing anything. You don't have to double protect here. You can the Rillaboom is going to be faster than the Scrafty, I have to imagine. So you can, if this is not choice banded and it's just like something like an Assault Vest set, you can get fake out pressure here if you want it. It may still just be better to double protect here, just so the P2 doesn't get a strong try attack off. And getting the Poison Jab does mean that you're also making progress on slightly damaging that every turn that you can play passively here. So I really don't mind double protecting here at all. So yeah, and it's just you can't really switch out the P2 here. Just on the fact that you're gonna be transforming into something else. And you're just going to be a Poison Mon with no special attack boost instead of a Poison Mon with 2 special attack boosts. Oh, okay. I lied about the... That's my mistake. I forgot the Gliscor is a Mon in the air. So it does not actually get the benefits of Grassy Terrain, which is a pretty big deal here. That's already missing on 12% of HP. Judging by the fact that we did not see a Fake Out from the Rillaboom or a Protect, it makes me think that this Rillaboom is in fact choice banded. We have seen choice band Rillaboom from the Inner Beauty Bruxishs before. So he does get another chance to select this move here. Wood Hammer would hit really, really hard here. Probably KO the Porygon 2, or at least set up a KO for the Porygon 2. And I like doing that over Wood Hammering the Scrafty because I think the Scrafty is the one that's a bit more likely to switch here. Because again, you are missing out on that +2 download boost. And let's see, the Gliscor, I do think it's fairly safe here. If you think you can successfully get the double on the P2. I don't know if a Wood Hammer kills, honestly. A dittoed copied of P2. I would think it does, especially if it's banded. I would have to imagine. So you can just do that, and the Gliscor can... I don't know. We have seen the entire moveset, so you can probably just, like, Poison Jab here to not do a bit of self-damage to Rillaboom. And maybe even get a Poison on the Scrafty, which would be a very nice thing here, so where you can just kind of stall out the rest of the game. Okay, so we do see a Choppleberry. Probably more expecting for it to use it on the Keldeo, but does get some good value out of it. Not only taking 25% less damage than you would have, preventing some heal from the Drain Punch that happened. Kind of surprised that he didn't go after the P2 here. I felt like you had a pretty safe kill here. And I'm also kind of surprised that the P2 is on the field. In front of a Scrafty, nothing less, because you're just asking to get it knocked off. But maybe just didn't think Porygon 2 was that useful at this point. I was like, if this dies, it's fine. But yeah, Rillaboom down. Kind of unfortunate, especially because you didn't do that much with it. I'm not doing damage to the P2. And now this P2 came from like, oh, this should be pretty easy to kill. It's a lot more difficult to kill. Still can definitely kill it. This Arcanine with Flare Blitz, I can imagine, would do it. We go with the Keldeo, though. Bringing out the Fighting type against 2 mons weak to Fighting. Makes sense. Just saw Choppleberry. So, it's just like, what do you... I would prefer to go after this P2. I would say. Because I do think that the Scrafty, it's definitely just more offensively unthreatening with the +2 special attack, and one of Scrafty's main ways to do damage being knockoff. You resist that, and it's like maybe like something like Drain Punch or something that you just kind of heal a decent amount a bit off. And is this Porygon? Have we seen the turn order with these mons? Okay, we do know the turn order. We do know that the Porygon does outspeed the Scrafty here by looking at previous data. This P2 could tactically be Choice Scarf, but we haven't seen much Choice Scarf Ditto throughout my lifetime from the Jake Gambit. It's usually Focus Sash, but we will see. Okay. It is Brick Break, not Drain Punch. Not going for knockoff on the Porygon 2. Maybe suspecting a Protect here, because getting knocked off or in this case Brick Break is kind of crippling. But yeah, the P2 goes down, and you just got so much of your health back. That was a pretty big turn for the for Inner Beauty Bruxishs here. And you're just... This Keldeo's looking, this is looking pretty rough here, I will say. If you... Once the Hatterene goes down, I really feel like the Keldeo just kind of just beats everything. But Hatterene is definitely an annoying mon here. Has ways to heal up with like Draining Kiss, can set up, can spam paralysis with Nuzzle. Definitely a lot of set variety that this could be, and all are very annoying here. It's just a speed control aspect that's the problem here. I can imagine that Psychic does KO the Keldeo. It's getting to the point in the game where I'm okay terroring this Keldeo if it's like a good neutral terror type, because it's just so close to kind of just like breaking through with the game. If it's like Terra Water, for example, that just boosts your damage and it makes your your weakness to parry and Psychic go away. So that could be a pretty good Terra here. And man, you gotta start doing something here, because again, this P2 is at +1 special attack, so this is also a threat. So you gotta start figuring something out. I think you just knock off and then some move to hit the Keldeo is just like the best way to spread the love here. I can very easily see the P2 protecting now this turn. But man, it's looking rough. Okay. Future Sight, I think you choose a target for. I haven't seen this in doubles literally ever. But yeah. I also respect switching the Keldeo out here. Again, it is a It is such a good mon. Once the Hatterene goes down, it kind of just solos. But yeah, trying to taunt the Scrafty here. We do now know it's full set. You can now safely click knockoff onto the left slot on whatever you want here. You know, guaranteed to do something. But yeah, this Gliscor with the poison jab here, the Hatterene has to be worried about that. It's probably like maybe like it's somewhere between 2 and 3 shots. Definitely doesn't owe 1 shot here. But yeah, this is a good switch in. I very heavily agree with that. And how do you really even KO Gliscor? I mean, you can double it and you'd be like, that could be enough, honestly. But like, dang. This mon just kind of gets the fullback so quickly. Like, I don't even hate protecting here, but I don't think you need to do that. Maybe you can. Maybe it's okay to do that, honestly. And the Porygon 2 can get a big tri-attack off. And the Hatterene just kind of... Yeah, I actually do like protecting it the more I think about it. Alright, we finally get the knockoff off on the P2 here. Terra Poison. I am kind of confused by this Terra here. I felt that knockoff was way more likely to happen than Brick Break. And now you put yourself weak to a Psychic type move. You do make yourself resist a Fairy now. But I don't know. I feel like this was kind of a waste of a Terra and arguably a detriment here. Okay, it's one more turn for this future sight. But yeah. Spoilers, but yeah, I guess sending in Bruxishs. I don't hate it, I don't love it. See, probably trying to take the future side here. I also don't think you really need Bruxishs that much, so I don't mind this, honestly. Sorry. And this Gliscor can just can press Poison Jab again into the hat spot, try to fish for a poison, honestly. Seeing a double... okay, we have Clear Amulet. Makes a lot of sense here. I think that's honestly the best item you could have brought for the double Intimidate crew. And the future sight does connect. It was targeted on the Gliscor, and the Gliscor does go down here. That's pretty nice to get out of here. Dodging the poison is also nice. Unfortunately, like I said, that the Gambit still have their Terra, so you don't have like the freest like water type move into the Incineroar slot next turn here. But I do wonder if it's Dazzling or Strongjaw. Because if it is Dazzling, you can just click the water type move immediately here and feel pretty good about it. I think I prefer bringing in Arcanine, at least right now. And then later on, you get in the, something like the Keldeo. I do think that you don't have... I don't want to bring this Keldeo just yet. I do want... Again, I do want this Hatterene gone. There's the Arcanine to make the Incineroar a bit weaker here. Also just does very well against the Hatterene. At least with the Fairy type moves. And I kind of want to just, like, double this Hatterene until it dies. Like, to spam doubling it. And so you can set yourself for a Keldeo endgame. But maybe that's a bit too hasty of me. But I don't know. Like, I think it can be done. I think that's pretty fair here. Because I'm not that scared of Incineroar, at least yet. With the -1 attack here. And I am... Also, it depends on, again, if this is Dazzling or Strongjaw.
Now, let me be clear.
Double Clear Amulet. Dang. That's an Iron Head. Okay, we have the Reflect on Bruxishs here. Kind of not what I expected at all. The fact that we saw neither of these mons protect makes me think that this is Dazzling instead of Strongjaw. But yeah, the Gambits are in a very tricky spot here. These mons are fairly chipped. These are 2 mons that are also slower. So I can very easily see a double KO with like Iron Head into the Hatterene and like a wave crash into Scrafty here. And, like, what do you really do about it? Then you're at a 2 against 4 with a Reflect Up. And the Incineroar that can... And, like, the other 2 months that are going to be left are 2 months that can be Intimidate Cycle Spam. Like, this is... I'm not really sure how you work your way around this if the Interbreedy Bruxishs play their cards right. Okay, a fairly passive turn here. Just takes the KO on the Scrafty. Fair enough. I kind of surprised the Arcanine protected here. Makes me more confused about what the ability is. Is it actually not dazzling? I can't. With a double attack, I would think it would be, but no. Not going to end up mattering here, as it just protects into, if the Arcanine attacked it would just win in the hat spot. Okay, the Future Sight does come out. Bruxishs eats it fairly well. It did take a good amount of chip here, the Bruxishs, where an Earthquake may be able to KO. Well, there's a Reflect Up, so probably not, but it does make it so that it is in range of getting worn down a bit easier, at least. Arcanine does have Will-O-Wisp, and I would be scared of it, but I don't know. If you get Will-O-Wisp, you lose the game, honestly. So, you gotta hope for something good to happen to you, or for the Interbreedy Bruxishs to make this mistake here. I don't know if there's a Terra that can help save you here. We're starting to run out of time to use Terra, so it's more of now or never, if anything. Okay, Rock Slide flinches. That's always a way to win a game. Are we going to see a flinch? No. And there's Ice Fang. Didn't know about that coverage. Wasn't sure if it was going to be brought, but does have the correct move for the Garchomp here. And now it is a 2 against 4. And the Garchomp is so low. And the Arcanine has a decent chance. I would imagine has extreme speed. And even if it doesn't, the Keldeo is probably faster than both of these Mons. I think this game is pretty over at this point. Oh, it is another Future Sight. Okay, so the Arcanine does go down, but that honestly may even be worse because now the Keldeo gets in safely here. End up going Porygon 2 instead. A little bit of a shock here. Maybe the Keldeo just doesn't have Protect and it's not dazzling, and so we're just going to double protect the Intimidate. Not protecting, so that's going to do half. Oh, oh my gosh, we crit. We crit the Flare Blitz, causing the P2 to die. Again, like, why didn't we bring out Keldeo? I felt Keldeo was, like, so much safer here. And now the Keldeo's in the 1v2 instead of the, instead of something else. Yeah, I'm not really sure why the P2 got sent out first here. There's also going to be only one more turn of Reflect, so that's an issue. So, if both these Mons have Protect, you can double protect this. But I still think you're probably fine. Assume the Keldeo has a way to KO the Garchomp, has a priority move, or is faster than Garchomp here. I would think so. Unless the Incineroar has something crazy as it's like as one of its moves, but like I don't think there's any move that could help make you win that. Why are we going after the Garchomp and not? Why are we going after this and not the Garchomp? You're just giving the Garchomp more attacks. Oh my gosh, I have to say that this has to be a throw. Unless this last move is like Surf, but I don't know if Surf's KOing. Probably expected the Aura Sphere to KO the Incineroar, but but like it didn't come close. It did nothing. It did 38. And I was gonna say maybe it's because it's a Assault Vest. No, it just did that little. Okay, we got Iapa Berry. Okay, so maybe we're back. But, like, please... You're going to have to make a call here. If you have Protect, I'd click Protect here to try to gain information. I think that's, like, about as safest thing you can do. Because maybe if the Garchomp protects next turn, then you're in a spot to where... Well, or if like, the Incineroar protects. I just want to protect here if you can do that. Just so I can see what of these other mons protects, so they can abuse that for next turn. We don't. Let's see how much Stomping Tantrum does. Not enough. And geez, okay. That was a bit closer than I felt like it should have been. But the Aura Maxers, not the Aura Maxers, oh my gosh, sorry. The Inner Beauty Bruxishs barely scraped by in a win that I thought that was a lot more guaranteed here. They got through. That does knock down the Jake Gambits to 1 and 3. They probably have to win out to have any chance of making playoffs here. Well, that's rough, but that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for being here as always, and I'll see you guys soon. Yeah, I'm not really sure why the P2 got sent out first here. There's also going to be only one more turn of Reflect, so that's an issue. So, if both these mons have Protect, you can double Protect this. But I still think you're probably fine. Assume the Keldeo has a way to KO the Garchomp, has a priority move, or is faster than Garchomp here. I would think so. Unless the Incineroar has something crazy, yes, it's like as one of its moves, but like I don't think there's any move that could help make you win that. Why are we going after the Garchomp and not... Why are we going after this and not the Garchomp? You're just giving the Garchomp more attacks. Oh my gosh, I have to say that this has to be a throw. Unless this last move is like Surf, but I don't know if Surf's KOing. Probably expected the Aura Sphere to KO the Incineroar, but but like it didn't come close. It did nothing. It did 38. And I was gonna say maybe it's because it's a Assault Vest. No, it just did that little. Okay, we got Iapa Berry. Okay, so maybe we're back. But, like, please... You're gonna have to make a call here. If you have Protect, I'd click Protect here to try to gain information. I think that's, like, about as safest thing you can do. Because maybe if the Garchomp protects next turn, then you're in a spot to where... Well, or if like, the Incineroar protects. I just want to protect here if you can do that. Just so I can see what of these other mons protects, so they can abuse that for next turn. We don't. Let's see how much Stomping Tantrum does. Not enough. And geez, okay. That was a bit closer than I felt like it should have been. But the Aura Maxers, not the Aura Maxers, oh my gosh, sorry. The Inner Beauty Bruxishs barely scraped by in a win that I thought that was a lot more guaranteed here. They got through. That does knock down the Jake Gambits to 1 and 3. They probably have to win out to have any chance of making playoffs here. Well, that's rough, but that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for being here as always, and I'll see you guys soon.